Hello. Today on the channel, I finally have the 2024 Lexus TX 350 Premium all-wheel drive. And if you recognize this background, you know that I might have a special guest today. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. Before I begin today's video, as always, please like this video, comment something down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. And speaking of support, huge shout out to Johnson Lexus of Raleigh for sponsoring today's video. Johnson Lexus, with locations in Raleigh and Durham, is the highest selling luxury brand dealership in North Carolina and the surrounding states. Check the link in the description below. Yes, well, like I said in the intro of the video, if you do recognize this background, then you know that I do have a very special guest on the channel today. Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter? It's Chris Landry from Gears and Queers. Hi. We are back together once again for another cute gay car review.
Yes, ma'am. I am so thankful to be here, Iana, even though you're in my city where I live.
So, how do you feel so far about just give me initial thoughts on the TX.
Well, so no secret to you, I was not very sold on the TX when it was like first released, which was at the end of 2023, right?
Correct.
So she's pretty fresh on the scene. I was kind of surprised that Lexus didn't have an offering quite like this, and I wasn't super big on the front end at first. But I must say, after the past 2 days of driving her around, I love the way this car rides, and I'm actually quite warming up to the look of it.
Technically, you did mention that they didn't have a 3-road option, but they did with the RXL, which was basically a RX with a couple inches added onto the back for a hilariously small third row. So there's also 3 different offerings for the TX. There is the complete ICE version, there is the hybrid, and then there is the plug-in hybrid. But this is the complete ICE version with no hybrid option, but we'll get into that powertrain in just a second. Let's keep going. The TX 350 comes in 3 different trim levels, starting around $55,000. This is the premium trim level or the mid trim level for $58,000. The top tier luxury starts around $60,000. Chris?
The TX is actually based on the Grand Highlander, which is built in Indiana, by the way, in the USA. And this particular one here, the 350 all-wheel drive, is rated at 20 miles per gallon in the city, 26 on the highway, and 23 average. And
premium gas.
And premium gas.
Don't expect to save money on this one.
No.
Okay. Do you want to let the viewers know what you think that the coolant looks like?
I think the coolant looks like a tasty, trendy restaurant's strawberry lemonade.
You know what it looks like? It looks like that high C lemonade.
I just want to sip.
I'll give you $5 if you drink it. I don't have $5. Anyways, all of the TX 350 models come standard with a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine. They have an 8-speed automatic transmission standard, either front wheel drive or an all-wheel drive drivetrain. Chris, what are the output numbers?
So the all-wheel drive 2.4 liter turbo model here is making 275 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque on premium gas, but it can tow up to 5,000 pounds.
Which is also pretty standard for this segment. Other cars like this, like the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade and the GMC Acadia, those can also tow up to 5,000 pounds, except for the Infiniti QX60, which can tow about 6,000 pounds. Is there anything we forgot? Oh yeah, what's the 0 to 60 time?
0 to 60 on this all-wheel drive model is 7.8 seconds.
Decent. All right, so let's talk design language. So this is obviously based off of the Grand Highlander, and you can tell, especially in the side profile, it's very obvious. They did change it up just a little bit for the front and the rear fascia. Let's talk about the front fascia first. So it does kind of follow suit a little bit with Toyota in the sense that these daytime running lights do kind of connect into this chrome bar in the front. I am glad that that is not a full LED light bar in the front, but I really do like this L motif daytime running light situation that they have going on. Although it might not be the spindle grille, it does still look very good and premium, I think, for this segment. What do you think?
It is no secret that I was not the biggest fan of the front end styling of the TX. I will say that it's warming up to me as the car warms up to me. I still think that the nose is probably a little bit longer than it necessarily needs to be. The hood gets in your way, in your view when you're driving. I think it's probably a little taller than it necessarily needs to be. Overall, I think the car makes for an attractive package, even if, in my opinion, the front end is the weakest element there.
Wow.
Well, Miss Kluver, we're here at the back of the Lexus TX, which I think is a lot more well-designed than the front end.
Okay.
You have this like heck blend light bar situation, which is hearkening to the RX and the NX models that have been recently refreshed by Lexus.
Correct.
The individual lettering, I think, is very luxurious for the Lexus brand. We don't have the L logo here. In stark contrast to the Grand Highlander, which looks like
a RAV4 blown up.
Kind words.
It's just an oversized RAV4 looking in the Grand Highlander.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
The front end did also take me some warming up to as well, but I think outright enjoyed the way that the back end looked more so, and I like the way that the back end looks more than the Grand Highlanders per se. Whereas I really love the way that the Grand Highlanders front end looked, but took me a little bit more time to get used to the back end. It's kind of flipped for this one. So let's open up the automatic tailgate and talk about the fact that this is a 3-row SUV. Do you want to talk about the cubic feet of storage?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you so much.
So behind the third row, you get 20.2 cubic feet.
Not bad.
Storage space, but fold that third row and you get 57.4 cubic feet of storage.
These only come standard on the premium models and the luxury models, whereas they are manually folding for the base model. All right, well, let's go inside. Okay. And here we are in the 2024 Lexus TX 350 Premium all-wheel drive Couture leather over. That was the Mazda. And you can click on that video in the top right-hand corner of the screen. It comes standard with a 14-inch infotainment display that houses Lexus's newest and latest operating system. Comes with voice control that you can enable with, "Hey Lexus,
what do you want to do?
Set driver's seat temperature to 69.
Honey.
Setting the driver's temperature to 69 degrees.
So there you go. Not as useless as, say, some other AI vehicles that I've tested out, but still pretty useful. This also comes with the technology package, which includes the 12.3-inch meter display that you can change up, you can customize it, and it also comes, the technology package also comes with the heads-up display as well as the, what is it called?
Advanced Park.
Advanced Park Assist. In the looks department in general, you have been so fascinated by this, by the interior on this. Do you want to talk about that a little more?
Yeah, I think that Lexus's latest interior design, which I know we touched upon, like the instrument cluster and situation a little bit, I think it's very nice. We've got a lot of nice soft materials. It's a driver-oriented display. It feels very, dare I say, sporty, which seems to be a direction that Lexus is kind of orienting towards in their luxury niche.
Yes.
I like the color. I like the accent of the lighter gray seat material over here.
I like how it wraps around into the dashboard too.
Almost, I mean, it gives a continuous look even though it's broken up by the gauge cluster. Something that I have not been able to get over is that this feels like a very old Lexus touch, the fabric covered speaker grille right here. Because like a lot of companies are going to like the trendy metallic speaker grills. And there's, I don't know, this feels a lot more like warm and inviting.
I think it's definitely a lot more premium feeling than the Grand Highlander, because the Grand Highlander, of course, is the more standard of the two. You can tell that they made an effort to make this feel and look more premium, and it absolutely achieves that. Also, these are interesting. These are really interesting. I don't know.
Road rage. You can throw something at fellow motorists.
Yeah.
But you know what I want to comment on before we finish with the interior? There is a oil pressure, oil temperature, and coolant temperature reading right there. Of course, it's a configurable display, but Motor Week, John Davis, that is a complete gauge package.
No, he would love that.
Yes.
That is a completed gauge package. Let's go in the second row and third row and find out if we fit back there. Here we are in the second row of the TX 350 Premium, and it's pretty nice back here. This is the 8-seater with the bench row. You can get an optional captain's chairs to make it a 7-seater, and then there would be a center console here that you can remove. My knees are touching the back of my driving position right now, so I would have me move up a little bit, but it would still give both of us plenty of room back here. How are you feeling?
I am feeling quite nice. I mean, so obviously you're a taller person and you are sitting behind where you would be sitting, and you're, you know, a little cozy, shall we say.
A little cozy.
I have plenty of room back here. I find the seat comfortable, and we just discovered that you can recline
Oh yeah, that's right.
these seats. It feels very open back here because the premium model has this panoramic roof.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it?
Let's see if we fit in the third row. All right, so here we are in the third row. Now to access the third row, are you done?
Yes.
So here we are in the third row, and Chris has already sat back there. They have not positioned the second row for their liking just yet, but I am going to get into the third row by pressing this button at the top of the second row. It will automatically slide forward, and then you can, it's pretty, I'm hitting the camera. It's pretty simple to get in, but here we go. Okay. That's actually not bad. I mean, I'm huge. I mean, what do you expect? But it does have power adjusting backrests, which is pretty premium. But of course, that would make sense for the fact that it is, a power folding third row.
That does make sense.
But I mean, I gotta be honest, even though I am a gargantuan human being, I actually am not too uncomfortable back here.
That is saying a lot here. So I'm obviously a smaller human being, and I feel honestly like quite comfortable because like I've got a little bit of headroom here. My knees are close, but they're not touching the second row.
Whereas mine are very much into the second row.
You are one with the second row.
Yes.
But you know what? We have like cup holder, phone slot. We have our own USB-C on each side back here. Like, this is not the most horrific penalty box. I don't think I'd want to be back here for super long.
I think my final thoughts on this is that this is a really great addition to Lexus, and I'm surprised that it took them this long to come up with something for this segment. It's a very good first attempt, I think. I do wish that there were a few more kind of like family-oriented features, like a talking back row, like you can talk to the third row from the front row kind of thing.
Some
like,
of the more minivan-oriented type things.
Yeah, like more minivan-oriented, because this could technically be like a high-class minivan, right? Yeah. I mean, there are some vehicles that come with like, second and third row cameras that you can view from the infotainment system. I think it is lacking in that department, but that's all to say that it's a really great first rendition of something of this nature.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I was not I wouldn't call myself a fan of this category of vehicle per se, but I am very much fond of this particular vehicle. I think that it is no secret that Lexus and Toyota have been killing it lately. And even though it did take them a while to have a purpose-built, as we discussed, because we did have the RXL, but a purpose-built three-row like this, I think that the first entrant is amazing.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And hopefully we'll be making more content together. Thank you again to Johnson Lexus of Raleigh for sponsoring today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hey Sparks. Thanks for watching today's video. Do you want more SparkPlug TV content? Then you can choose one of these three options. Right over here. The middle button is to subscribe to my channel, so please do that. Right over here. These three. I can't see them in real life, but they're right here.